ESO Personalised, proud sponsor of the Impacted podcast. Why not visit their website on www.esopersonalised.co.uk. Your brand is our business.
Hello and welcome to episode 12 of TNI Impacted with your host, the Bison, and as always, coming to us from the void, the Joker.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I shall be channeling some good vibes from the empty space today, because I know we're all feeling a bit down after the pandemic. So let's crack on.
Let's crack on. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm feeling all right, thank you. Bit under the weather, but nothing.
We're
Nothing.
not thinking Corona, no.
No. Thankfully.
No, good news. Obviously, recent weeks we've seen the death tolls rise. So our love and thoughts go out to all of the people in the UK, US, and around the world who are suffering at this time. All we can say is stay home, stay safe, keep washing your hands. Spend your time listening to podcasts like ours. That would definitely help pass the time, that's for sure. Just stay home, stay safe. We're our love and thoughts are with you all. Okay, so moving on. Impacted is a show presented via the Total Nonstop Impact podcast channel on YouTube and other podcast outlets, including iTunes, SoundCloud, etc. Basically we are available wherever you listen to your podcasts, as well as obviously on YouTube if you want to see our beautiful faces. Maybe me stroking my beard, doing the old Rascals impression. Whatever it is, at the end of the day, we are here for your pleasure, I hope. And the basic format of the show is we take characters from our favorite wrestling promotion, Impact Wrestling. We talk about their past, their present, and their future. Say their future. We like to try and predict their future, and possibly give a few ideas of where we think they're going to go. And interestingly, we're wrong most of the time. So
especially with the knockouts.
Impact for that. Yes, apart from some of the okay stuff. Yeah, you're right, actually.
And you got to look at Havoc and Su Young and Ty Valkyrie. Every time we've made a prediction for them, it's gone completely the other way.
Yeah,
and Rosemary.
What we need to do is we need to make some crappy predictions to make sure that we get some really good stuff, right?
Yeah. I think it's just luck on the quarter Irish, I think.
Yeah, there is, without doubt. So, without further ado, let's move on. And let's let the listeners. Let's let the I think we started calling them the Impactors. Let's let the Impactors know exactly who it is that we're talking about this week. And that is Joe.
We are heading up to Canada, running away from Ohio. Heading up to Canada, and we are going to be talking about the North. Josh Alexander and Ethan Page.
Yes, we are. Yes. And what a badass team they are, right?
Fantastic team.
Absolute powerhouse. That's without doubt. Absolute powerhouse. I think they have everything. They have power. They have speed. They're great on the mic. Fantastic at promos, especially Ethan, who's like we were talking about earlier. But as a combination, I think they've got it exactly right. They've got everything, haven't they?
They've got all the tools in the arsenal, and like you said, Ethan Page is all ego. Like he's one of the guys that keeps the spirit in the locker room up. I think as well. You got to look at his vlogs and stuff, guys, on your YouTube, and see how he brings the spirit of all the locker room out. It's worth checking out his YouTube channel.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't recommend Ethan's vlog enough on YouTube. Look it up. It's Ethan Page's vlog. Absolutely fantastic. He's got his own channel, so it's worth subscribing to him as well. So make sure you do that, because you could definitely follow himself. And Josh is obviously included in that a lot. But we also see a lot of wrestlers that sometimes don't see. Well, we certainly don't see them on Impact as well, like Space Monkey and people like that, who I actually find absolutely hilarious. I love that gimmick. I think it is brilliant, and I'd love to see him make an appearance on Impact actually, even if it was just a brief one. You know, just showing off that whole the thing that he puts around his neck and turns it on so that he speaks English, and then suddenly starts speaking English. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Shark Boy.
Yes, team him up with Shark Boy. That would be perfect. Yeah, Space Monkey and Shark Boy. What a team!
We'll have to let Ethan Page know and see what he thinks.
If Ethan Page, mate, seriously, Shark Boy and Space Monkey. What would mate? That would be an incredible tag team.
Not bad thing is just come off the top of my head.
No, definitely. I think they would make a great tag team. They'd certainly be a lot of fun. That's for sure. And Space Monkey cannot move. I don't know if you've actually seen his in-ring stuff, but yeah, incredible talent. Really, really impressive in the ring. And a funny gimmick, and a very fun gimmick. I like it a lot. But then that's because I appreciate the fun side of pro wrestling as well as the sort of kind of like, you know, the serious stuff.
Yeah,
I appreciate the fun stuff.
Macho Man stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I like the hard hitting, strong style in wrestling, but at the same time, I do like the comedy, the light relief. I do like the fun, and I think it's exactly needed. And you know, as long as you get that blend of kind of like comedy and seriousness, and you know, as long as you get that blend right, I think it's definitely has its place on Impact, on any wrestling promotion. To be fair, I used to love it when Grado was on Impact. I thought Grado was hilarious. And the funny thing was with Grado was he used to do a lot of stuff in the ring that probably a lot of the American fans didn't get, because he used to do a lot of references back to some of the old World of Sport wrestlers like Big Daddy and you know, Nick McManus and people like that. He used to have a lot of references back to some of the old Saturday afternoon wrestling on you know, in the UK back in the day. I remember sitting there watching World of Sport with my dad when I was sort of, you know, 10 years old or whatever, you know, cheering on for Big Daddy. Easy. I don't know if you remember that. I used to love all that stuff.
No, I was in Ireland at the time, so I missed all that.
Oh, mate, I used to love it. But that's what I used to like Grady, because a lot of the stuff he did was I recognised and could pick up on what he was. I think a lot of American fans didn't quite get it, but if I think the UK fans probably got it a lot more. But anyway, I digress. As far as I'm concerned, the North are an incredibly hard-hitting, incredibly talented tag team, and I'm, you know, extremely happy that they are the current Impact Tag Team World Champions. Now, going back to my notes quickly, if I can find them, here we go. Going back to my notes quickly, I still want to do the facts and stats. We started doing this in the last episode, didn't we?
Yes, we did. With Sammy Callahan.
Let's start with Josh. Now, Josh is from Ontario. I believe he's from a town called Bolton. Yeah, I've no idea where that is in Ontario, but Ontario is a hell of a place. I believe in the lake alone you could fit the UK. So Ontario is a hell of a place. So he's initially from Bolton, Ontario. He's 6'1" and he's age 32. So still a young lad when it comes to in terms of wrestling. Still got a good 10 years or so in him before he becomes what you would class as a vet, I guess. 10 sort of 15 years. He is 240 pounds of muscle. That's not. I mean, 240 pounds is a pretty heavy dude, right? But he is solid.
Definitely.
Like, he's absolute solid beast. Now, his debut was back in 2005. So again, you know, I mean, you know, we can say that he's still got quite a few years to be considered a veteran. However, you know, he has been wrestling now for 15 years, which, you know, let's face the facts. It doesn't matter what job you do. If you've been doing it for 15 years, you should be getting quite good at it by now, right?
Oh, definitely. I've got him on my friends list on Facebook, and I look back at some of the photos and stuff he shared of his career, and you honestly wouldn't think he's been wrestling for 15 years. His physique has hardly changed from about when he got about halfway through his career up to about now. He's just a giant, and just when he comes, when he comes to Impact, I'd hardly heard of him, but I knew his face from somewhere, and I was just really hyped to see Josh Alexander come in there. And I guess it was more to see someone else work with Ethan Page more than anything else. But he just had that standout factor that this is someone that you want to see do something. And Josh Alexander was not disappointed.
I think his reputation precedes him. I mean, at the end of the day, he is a talent that over the years and on the indie scene or wherever he's wrestled, I can go through some of those in a sec. But, you know, I mean, at one point, he was actually the AAW. That's the promotion that Trent produces for. He was actually their heavyweight champ at one time. So he even as a solo wrestler, he is a force to be reckoned with. He has strength, he has power. Dare I say, he's a human suplex machine. And
he's better than the human suplex machine.
Oh man. If he gets, and if he gets you into a submission, you're in trouble, right? I mean, Matt wrestling, just absolutely superb. He can go off the ropes. He can jump off the top rope. He can go second rope. He can fly around the ring. He can do all the hard hitting moves, but he can also get down and dirty on the mat. And his technical skill, I think, is probably second to none. He's an incredibly technique proficient wrestler, isn't he?
Oh, definitely. Canada seems to have a knack for getting really good, no nonsense, ground and pound, all around wrestlers. You only got to look at Chris Benoit, for example, Chris Jericho, is Bret Hart. The other names have gone now. But Josh Alexander is just a classic example of Michael Elgin's another one. There's a pedigree in Canadian wrestling, and Josh Alexander's right up his top.
Yeah, definitely. Now he was trained by Johnny Devine. Do you remember Johnny Devine?
I've never heard of the name before.
Oh, really? Oh my God!
No.
Well, Johnny is definitely a veteran. That's without doubt. So he was trained. He's a big time trainer in the industry. So he's definitely got the pedigree of training, which again, probably equates to his all around in ring skill. He had an incredible trained background, so that's definitely helped him. And in his career, as I've already mentioned, he was the AAW heavyweight champ for a while. I'm not sure how long he held it, but I know that's part. He definitely held that title. He was also the PWG Pro Wrestling Guerrilla Tag Champ with Page at the time. Now, this was the incarnation of the North before they became the North, and that was the Monster Mafia. Now, I've seen a bit of the Monster Mafia on YouTube, they were they were no different, really. Just an absolutely formidable team, as Monster Mafia, without doubt. And then moving on to Ethan. Ethan, again, is from Ontario. I think he's from Hamilton, Ontario. He's 6'2", so he's a little bit taller than Josh. He's also 240 pounds. And again, in his earlier days, Josh was a little bit more padded, I think. But over the 2 or 3 years, he's really started. I mean, he does his show, The Body Guy, and all that kind of stuff. But he's really toned down, hasn't he? He's really toned up, should I say?
Yeah.
And started to get a lot. He's getting a lot bigger in terms of his muscular prowess. I remember about 12 months or so, I saw a tweet come out from some WWE guy that was basically calling Ethan a chubster, and Ethan sort of kind of made some remark on that, which I remember chuckling to and thinking legend.
Yeah.
And then, but ever since, I don't know whether that had an impact on him. I don't know, but ever since that moment, he seems to have really toned up and really started to go to town. And I think he started to really focus on creating certainly a more slender physique. And he is super strong. That dude is super strong. He can move.
He's deceptive. He's really.
Yes, deceptively strong. And, you know, he doesn't let up. You know, he will keep pounding on you with that, you know, incredible strength and physique that he has. Now, he debuted in 2006. So he actually debuted after Josh did. Josh debuted in 2005. So he debuted in 2006. Now, I couldn't find any information on who trained Ethan. So, Ethan, if you are listening or watching this podcast, I would love to know who was your trainer. I think it's one of those sort of. Wouldn't you? I'm sure you'd like to know as well, wouldn't you, Joe?
I would, yeah.
It's an interesting fact.
Yeah, it's nice to know the history. It's also nice to get it right. So rather than chuck a speculation in, Ethan, if you're listening, by all means, spread your ego across. You know, we're all welcome.
Give us some info. Now, he also, this is obviously another thing, he also is the owner of Alpha One Wrestling over in Ontario, which has recently been added to the Impact Plus app. So have you managed, have you got the Impact Plus app, Joe? I wasn't sure if you did.
No, I've not yet, no. It's on my to-do list. There's a lot of things on my to-do list, and at the moment we got this pandemic, so to manage the money a bit more. Well,
I mean, the interesting thing with the Impact Plus app is, I mean, I love it. I absolutely love the Impact Plus app. I've had it pretty much. I've actually had it since the Global Wrestling Network or whatever it was prior to that. I prefer this incarnation. It definitely had its issues when it was the GWN, but it's certainly improved a lot from now on. You can cast it straight to your TV. So whatever it is that you put on, you know, whatever it is that you're watching on your phone app, or whether it's on, you know, your tablet, or whatever it is that you've got it on, you can cast it straight to TV. So it's no different to watching, you know, watching on Access or watching on Fight Network or Five Spike, or whatever it is that you guys watch. Yeah, the same quality is good. It's just as good. It's perfect. But you also get the extra content, so you get to see some of the other stuff that they put on, like the monthly specials. So you get to see those on there, which is pretty good. And it's not bad. I mean, I think I'm paying like I think in terms of English money, it's about £7 a month or something. It's not particularly expensive for the amount of content that you get. I do like that. I mean, they had the TNA special was on there this week as well, so I've managed to watch that. Just cast it straight to the TV. So yeah, but you do have a section on there for indie pro wrestling. So and there's quite a few different promotions on there at the moment, including Alpha One. There, a couple of times.
Okay, I've never really seen them. People give him a lot of jip. I know that. I've seen. You know, he's impressive. You know, he's like the WCW version of Shane McMahon, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, to a degree, maybe. But I think, I mean, he gets gypped because at the time that he won the WCW Championship, he couldn't wrestle. He was just an actor. That was kind of, helping to raise the profile, like they do every now and again when they bring in, sports people and actors and singers and all that kind of stuff, just to sort of kind of, increase ratings or raise the profile of the promotion or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think at the time he was that, but I think the thing was, it turned out he actually quite enjoyed it. And then later on, he thought, you know what, maybe I'm not getting so much work now for acting. So actually, why not train to be a wrestler? And yeah, so he's trained. He's gone on and trained properly, and he's going around the independent scene doing appearances and doing some matches, and it's great. Like I said, he turned up on Alpha One, which was pretty cool, and fair play to Ethan for bringing him in. I think that so if you do get the chance, if you do have Impact Plus, if you don't have Impact Plus, you need to subscribe because you're missing out. There's a lot of great stuff on there. I'm talking to the Impactors now. During this time of the pandemic, perfect time to invest in Impact. You've got plenty of stuff that you can watch and enjoy, including thousands of hours of a lot of the old TNA stuff, right the way back to the Asylum days, which I believe Trent and Jay Boner covering on their weekly throwback show. Don't forget to check that out as well. That normally comes out on a Monday or Tuesday, I think. I'm not sure which day, but yeah, definitely worth checking that out if you're still into the old school stuff. And also, if you want to follow along, if you get the Impact app, you can watch the shows that they're about to review, which is quite cool as well. So you sort of kind of, it's almost like it's happening as it's happening. Yeah. The review as you've watched it, simulcasting kind of thing. Yeah. So that works really well. But yeah, so yeah, don't forget to there's lots of stuff on there that you can get involved in, including Ethan's Alpha One promotion. Now, obviously, I mentioned that he was obviously a World Tag Champ in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla as the Monster Mafia with with Josh. He was also the Evolve Tag Champ with ACH. At the time, they were called the Troll Boys. So I actually haven't seen that tag team at all. So I'm planning on looking that one up and checking out what they were up to, because ACH is one hell of a talent as well, as we all know. So that was, pretty impressive. So pre-Impact, Josh and Ethan formed, obviously, the Monster Mafia back in 2011. This obviously was going to eventually end up becoming the North once they reunited on Impact. The Monster Mafia themselves had runs in Ring of Honor, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, as we already know, because they became champs. And then the run, this incarnation of the Monster Mafia run came to an end around about 2015 when Josh decided to retire from pro wrestling. Now, I believe his retirement was also related to an injury, but I don't know too much about that, so I don't want to go into that. Josh,
he's got he broke. I think he broke one of his ear bones, which is why he's got the head guard on. He broke his ear bone training in as an amateur wrestler, and he's had the head guard on since then. So it's not a costume. It's literally there to because if that comes off and he gets a smack to the side of the head, he could collapse basically and lose his ability to walk on that.
Oh wow! Yeah, so it's pretty important that he wears a headgear then.
Yeah, it's like cutting the gum shield.
No, exactly. No, I get that. Well, I think he wears a gum shield as well, doesn't he?
He has had the gum shield on a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
He's taking quite a battering and training as an amateur wrestler. So he's no pushover, as you can see if you watch him in the ring.
Oh, no doubt about that. So he took a little bit of time out, and then obviously Ethan went on his own, done a few bits, and obviously continued working as a solo wrestler. He then debuted with Impact in 2017. Now he had a few skits with Abyss. I think he was at Chandler Park, I think it was back then.
Yeah.
It never really took off. It didn't really work, did it?
No.
I don't know why. I don't think they gave it enough time, to be honest. And I don't think they really went with the storyline in the end. I think it was something that they were looking to build, and then they sort of kind of abandoned it almost. They sort of kind of brought it to an end a bit early. So then that was it. Then we didn't see Ethan for age. Well, Chandler, as it was then, we didn't see him for ages. And then he re-debuted as Ethan Page, All Ego, around about in 2018. And then obviously, had a little bit of singles thing going on to eventually end up reuniting with Josh after Josh returned to pro wrestling in early 2019. And then not long after, we had the debut of the North. And then the coming months, I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Started to see them teaming with the likes of Moose. We saw them defeat RVD and Sabu, which, to be fair, is probably not that difficult these days. But we did see that, and then obviously high profile wrestlers. They eventually ended up winning the tag titles of Lax at Bash LAX, Bash at the Brewery, which was a big shock.
That was a massive shock.
Nobody was expecting that to happen. Which then obviously ended up in a really impressive three-way match the same weekend, so literally like 2 days later, at the Slammiversary pay-per-view. That ended up being a three-way, because I think originally that was supposed to be LAX or Lax versus the Rascals. So
yes, it was.
For the tag titles, but obviously LAX then lost the tag titles to the North at Bash at the Brewery, which then injected them into world title match.
I loved it because Ethan Page's promo to that on the event on Slammiversary, he just burst out laughing basically and really rubbed it into the Rascals and LAX. And I can remember people's reaction online, because most people missed Bash at the Brewery, and they were furious at that.
Yeah.
No one saw the title change. If you've not watched the match, guys, I do recommend you check it out, because it is a pretty damn good match.
It's incredible.
For LAX who've been ridiculously dominant from the tag division, to drop for them to lose the titles right before Slammiversary, it just added that extra bit of variety that I was really looking for. Not to disrespect LAX, but you see them dominating, and it just got a bit stale. So to see the Rascals get a shot at them, you knew that the Rascals haven't got a chance. They need to do something else with this. And then they bring Josh Alexander and Ethan Page in, take the titles off of everybody, and make them the target instead. And it's like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Who's gonna come through now?
It's funny, because it's all about in pro wrestling, you don't get the shock factor very often. Not these days. Obviously, now that we've got the internet, your social medias and everything else, things get out there, the pre-recorded shows, things get out there fairly quickly. So it is fairly rare that you get a big shock, I think, in pro wrestling these days. Certainly by Impact, as they pre-record, etc. But they really shocked everybody that day. I think everybody was like, hang on a minute, what's going on here? Like you say, there was a lot of heat created by social media, which of course is the right thing to do, because it then created even more interest in Slammiversary, right? So
that's fantastic.
Exactly what it was supposed to. It probably created a lot more buys for Slammiversary pay-per-view. More people got to see that three-way, which was again an incredible match. And of course the North walk away with the win. And like they said, other teams may be multiple-time world champions, but we're going to be one-time world champion because we're not going to lose.
No,
And I think that speaks volumes on the attitude and the way that they're going to go about kind of being, what they see as being the best tag team in the world. Now, go on.
They've just crossed the milestone for longest reigning tag team champions. So this will be about 2 or 3 weeks in advance. So last week, they crossed the threshold for longest reigning tag champions. So congratulations to Ethan Page and Josh Alexander. It's well deserved. I know you guys say one-time tag team champions. I see them being multiple-time tag team champions, even after this reign is dethroned. I think to just give them the one run isn't enough. I want to see more of the North when they sadly do get toppled. But it's going to take something really big to knock them off.
I agree. It's going to be one hell of a feud when it happens. And I can see a few going on where they sort of kind of lose the title, but then we have a few which battles it to them winning it again. Some sort of bang for glory or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're at the end of the day, as they stand at the moment, like you said, they are the longest reigning World Tag Team Champions in Impact or this company's history. I think that is an incredible testament. They seem to be doing that with a few of the stars now, like Taya, obviously. Pardon me, become the longest reigning knockouts champion, which is fantastic. So now the North have become the longest reigning World Tag Team Champs, which is awesome as well. So so they then went on after winning at Slammiversary. They've then gone on to prove what an absolutely fantastic tag team they are by defending it all over the world. And Ethan likes to point this out on regular occasions. They are in the title around the world. They're defending it all over the world at different promotions. I think and if you do follow Ethan's vlog, which I highly recommend, you get to see quite a few of those title matches, don't you?
You get to see quite a bit, and you get to see just how much they really put into their matches, and just how emotionally driven they are. They're not taking being the tag champions lightly, and they're not. I know any superstar with the belts and Impact don't take it lightly, regardless. Even I'm not dismissing anybody, but Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, they're out there to back up what they said, that they're going to hold this one time. We're going to make it a run to remember. And Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, it's just incredible watching them anywhere.
Yeah, and cool, blimey, can't Ethan create heat?
Fantastic!
He's got to be like, if you watch the vlog and obviously you follow Ethan on social media and stuff like that, you will see that actually Ethan is an absolutely top bloke. He's a really nice guy. I couldn't recommend enough. Again, finding Ethan on Twitter, especially, very good at promoting himself on Twitter. Lots of funny stuff. So same with Josh as well, actually. He puts out quite a lot of funny stuff too. But if you get to know Josh and his sense of humour, and Ethan, sorry, if you get to know their sense of humour, you can really have a lot of fun with them on social media, stuff like that, because they are really funny guys. And the person that the heel, the ultimate bad guy that you see on Impact Wrestling, or in any wrestling promotion, because he's an incredible heel. He really knows how to turn it on. He's a lovable Ethan Page behind the curtain, and then all of a sudden flicks the switch and he becomes all ego, all about him, all about the North, and the heel that he becomes. And I think that he's very good at it. Let's talk about him on the mic, for instance. Ethan's mic skill. What do you think about that, Joe?
Well, he's not called all ego for nothing. It is Mike's skill, especially after breaking away from Matt Seidel.
Yes.
It shut up, and you knew he could walk. You knew he could talk the talk, but could he walk the walk? And then when he goes with the walking weapon, Josh Alexander. He built Josh Alexander up to where he is now. I think,
Yeah.
charisma wise. But you know, if you guys have seen the most recent Impact Wrestling taping, which was ended with Ethan Page versus Tessa Blanchard, the promo he gave after Josh Alexander's there, boasting about how he beat Eddie Edwards and how we beat Eddie Edwards. Ethan Page flipping that happy mode to the serious side because Tessa Blanchard went, and that was one of the best promos I've seen from Ethan Page for a long time. You know, we see him all having a laugh and having a joke with the backstage interviewers, and that's just hilarious. But you see the nice side, you see the jokey side, and then you see this really, really angry side of Ethan Page, and so he's someone that oozes confidence, and when he needs to turn the heat up, he will turn the heat up. He's like Sami Callihan. He's got everything. He's got all the tools in the box to really promote himself.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more with that. I think that whenever I see a backstage segment turn up and it's got the North Boys, I know that all of a sudden we're going to get a quality promo from both of them. In fairness, now more recently, I think something we were talking about off the air earlier was how when they first started, together, it was pretty much all on the mic with a sort of kind of little, used to get a lot of facial expressions and a lot of sort of kind of like very, one lines or something like that from Josh. It was very much sort of kind of 90-10, wasn't it, in terms of mic time, 90% Ethan, 10% Josh. And I think over the last sort of 12 months or so, as they, as Josh, I think, as again, I don't know, put in a bit of time at home, practice with Ethan or whatever they've done. I think they have improved. I think he's improved a lot. And I think as he's improving, behind the mic or in vignettes and all that kind of stuff, they're starting to give him a more equal footing when it comes to the backstage promo. So, like you said, the last promo that we saw after Josh and Eddie Edwards match, which we'll get to a little, which was bloody incredible. But anyway, after that match, he had a good, he had a good sort of 30-second, 40-second stint of speaking before Ethan then, absolutely throws everything into disarray again in the way that he attacks anything that goes vocally. But I think that Josh is now starting to get to a point where he can hold his own on the mic, and I'm hoping that as time goes on we'll start seeing more of a 50-50 split on that. I mean, still at the moment I think we're looking at 60-40, maybe 70-30. But I think as time goes on, we're going to start seeing more and more of Josh on the mic. Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I like the way it's going now because, Ethan Page is all ego, so you do expect him to be centre stage, and Josh Alexander will just back up what Ethan Page has said with a much more serious tone to it. He's there to prove he is the muscle, and Ethan Page is there to be the one that you doubt, and you don't think he's going to be serious. But when you face them and see him in the ring, some of the moves they can string together. Yeah,
I mean,
some of them.
He's the walking weapon.
Yeah, he's not called the walking weapon for nothing.
No, exactly. Yeah, he is the walking weapon, and that's that. And at the end of the day, the guy does most of his talking in the ring, but it is starting to be good to see him now start to come through a little bit more in the when it comes to the mic work and the promos, etc. It's
because we got Michael he's like a very stone-faced backstage character. So we don't want too many of them. No disrespect to Michael Elgin, so please don't hit me if you're watching this. But even Michael Elgin's building up his charisma a bit more now. So the Impact is again giving the superstars the freedom to put themselves forward when they want to, and the North is just they've over LAX was another team that took a little while to really put themselves up on the mic because they had Conan most of the time, and the North, they since beating LAX and the Rascals, they've just been a completely different mindset altogether.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody realised how good the North were at that time, and I think there was a lot of people that were very much shocked that the North have been given the ball to run with. I think, obviously the people that knew. I mean, I had no idea. Until I started looking them up a little bit in their backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. I knew that they'd teamed together, previously, but I didn't know to what sort of kind of extent until I started to research it. Once I started to become a fan, I started to look the guys up and check them out a little bit and look at some of the stuff that they've done in the past. And then I started to realise, okay, this is why they gave them the ball. There is no doubt about it. Over the last, 12 months or so since they've become tag champs, that they have proved week in, week out that they are worthy of being the tag champs in every aspect. Some of the moves that they do in the ring, some of the tag team moves that they do in the ring, they're great. It's sort of kind of, there's a bit of an old school thing where they used to sort of kind of like corner off the ring and all that kind of stuff. And they're good at isolating people. They're very good at that whole, tag team isolation of a tag, a tag team member, where they'll get someone out there that they'll beat the crap out of them, and then they'll tag in the next one to beat the crap out of them while they're down. So they really know how to be a tag team, and they work incredibly well. They've got that little spark that it's almost like that brother thing where they know what each other's thinking, they know where they're going to go, they know what they're going to do, and I think they work incredibly well. And I like, what I also like about the both of them is when they do go out and start doing their single stuff, that they're always there supporting the other one. They're the cheerleader, they're backing them up, they're there. And let's face it, they've done over the course of the last 12 months, they've had quite a few singles matches, haven't they?
Yeah, especially Josh Alexander. He's had several really, really big singles matches. He's had Fowler Barr against him. Recently, Eddie Edwards. He's had I think it was Desmond Xavier against him, or Zachary Wentz against him. So
I think that was actually a really good match again. Again, it's the whole big man against a small man, but he's a big man that can move. Yeah,
and Josh Alexander, he's not afraid to take a beating, and he's not afraid to dish out a beating. Especially if you guys haven't watched Eddie Edwards and Josh Alexander from the last taping, I do suggest you watch it, because that was just a testament to how tough Josh Alexander is. He was just there, really, really, really pushing himself. I think the North have got a really, really big thing coming for him. I'm not sure what it is, but something's building up there. But for the North, for Josh Alexander to go up to that next level,
possibly.
I'm looking forward to seeing what it is. I think TJP and Fowler are probably going to be coming after him as well, because I know they're still on their radar. So I think it's something to help.
Their last match was incredible, wasn't it?
Last match was fantastic. I thought their last tag match, I thought TJP and Fowler would have had it won, but I would have hoped that I would have.
That was so good, that match. It was gripping from start to finish. You couldn't take your eyes off it for a minute, could you?
No, that's one of the best things about the North. When they're in the ring, they do great in-ring storytelling.
Yes, and they're not afraid, to take the onslaught from the other team. They're not afraid
Definitely.
to make the other teams look strong, because regardless of anything else, in that tag match, they made TJP and Fowler look strong, didn't they?
Oh, they really, really proved that these guys are a serious team. Yeah, because they started off a bit patchy and everyone wasn't really sure if they were going to be a serious team. Even the North were picking a Fowler bar a bit as well to build up the heat and the rivalry.
Yeah.
And every match they've had between each other has just been fantastic. And I'm a bit lost for words, really. Impact's is just doing the right thing. The best way to really appreciate it is to sit down and watch it and stop bitching.
Just enjoy it, because
Yeah,
there is some incredible stuff. I mean, some of that in-ring stuff that these guys do is just incredible. Some of the best. I'm sorry, but it's some of the best tag team wrestling in the world today.
definitely.
Without doubt. I do watch, like I said, I do watch a few other promotions that are apparently the best. And I have to say that the wrestling that is on Impact TV never fails to impress. If you were to just watch the show, ignore what it's called, watch the show, enjoy what's going on. I think you would seriously see what we see, which is incredible wrestling, incredible storytelling.
Exactly.
And the talent is just, for me, the roster is amazing. The roster is incredible. And they seem to be able to put the right talent in the right place at the right time. And, they proved that, with the North. They've proved that with Taya, who turned out to be incredible. And again, I think they're right. I think they're moving Taya into this whole intergender thing. So I don't think she's going to be in the title picture for the Knockouts for a while. I think you've got, Ace Austin. Again, another incredible talent that they're willing to give the time, give the ball and say, run with it, guy, run with it. Let's see what you've got. Let's see what you can do. We believe in you. Do you believe in yourself kind of thing is almost what they're saying, isn't it? And they've done that with the North.
Yeah, exactly.
They've done that with the North. To the Impact fans, a little bit of an unknown quantity to start with, but they knew what they had in this team, and they said, here's the ball, get out there and show the world, or show the Impact fan nation, or whatever you want to call it, exactly what you guys have got. And I think they've done that, whether it be tag team, whether it be on the mic, whether it be via social media, because they're both very active in promoting Impact and themselves, whether it be in storylines, in ring, singles, as a team, going around the world, promoting Impact and promoting the tag titles, defending it all over the world, making it a legitimate world championship. That's the way I look at it. You see, other companies have world titles, or they call them world titles, but in reality, if you go around the world defending it, how could it be a world title? It's a promotion title.
Definitely. Even Ethan Page, like you said, he's saying that we've been around the world, we've been defending these titles, and his promo against Tessa Blanchard at the last taping was saying that as far as he's concerned, the tag belts are the world title belts, because Tessa Blanchard hasn't been country to country to country, or promotion to promotion defending the Impact World title.
Yeah.
While the North have, and I thought that was a fantastic, not just a way to it was just a fantastic point, because it was something that never really crossed my mind, and it was also a really, really great way to piss Tessa Blanchard off as well. So again, Ethan Page is just fantastic at pointing out things you don't recognize, or you just don't seem to take on board. And they're a tag team that is the full package, and I've not seen one like that for a very long time. They remind me a bit of the Wolves. I've not seen a lot of the Wolves, so guys, do bear with me. But the Wolves were Dave Richards and Eddie Edwards. Those are two guys that seem to have everything as well.
Yeah.
And the Hardys are another big
connection.
Yeah, the Hardys are probably a more classic example, but the Hardys are big names, so they were expected to go all over the place. But
the Young
technical
Bucks,
ability,
probably another one.
Yeah, the Young Bucks, and the North are just everyone doubted them and everyone overlooked them because they just didn't like them. But if you sit down and you watch some of their matches and you just come take it in with an open mind, and they will impress you whether you like it or not.
Yeah, they're great. They're great, and they do have big followings. They have a big following all around the world. And like you say, they're willing to defend it wherever. They don't care. They'll defend it against whoever is willing to, whoever wants to challenge them, or they'll challenge. They'll bring someone on board or whatever. I think it's going to be interesting. I think over the next sort of 3 or 4 months or so. Obviously, we're going to have a slight hiccup, aren't we, with regards to the way storylines are going to go now, because of obviously the current world state. Hopefully, that'll clear up fairly soon, and we'll be able to get back to business as usual with the wrestling industry, all wrestling promotions, especially independent scene. These guys get paid per appearance. They're independents, so let's hope that we can get back to normal as quickly as possible, so these guys are getting paid.
Definitely, I'm hoping for the best for everyone.
Yeah, and I will say this: if you are a wrestling fan and you can spare the odd few pound here and there, quite a few wrestlers out there have got Patreons. They're selling their T-shirts. They make money on their T-shirts, all their merch, all that kind of stuff. If you ever wanted to buy a T-shirt from the North or from any other Ethan or Josh or any of the Impact talents or the independent talents that are out there today, now is the time to do it. Get on Pro Wrestling Tees, get on Shop Impact, wherever it is that they're selling their gear, buy a T-shirt, buy a hoodie, buy a pin badge, whatever it is, just get out there and buy something and help these guys feed themselves and their families. It's an important time to be showing the love for the wrestling industry. Don't you agree?
Oh, definitely. We're one big wrestling family, guys. Like it or not, love it or hate it, we're all one big wrestling family.
I've got a question for you. Joe. In the last 12 months, what was your favorite match for the North?
Oh God, the match that they had with the Rascals and Neliax is probably the most obvious choice. One of my other favorites was the match they had against TJP and Falavar. And the match they had with Moose versus the Rascals. That was the match that made them really stand out. That these guys are going to go somewhere. I think. Moose was. I thought, Moose teaming up with them it's going to be blah. It was just a rush match for the card, and then I was proved wrong. I knew the Rascals were good, and I knew the North was good, but to have them with Moose and watching how they all work together, it just shows that Impact know what they're doing when they're setting up these random matches. And even though sometimes myself I doubt it, or I don't know where it's going, and then you can wait a couple of months down the line, you think, oh, fantastic.
Yeah. I must admit, my favourite match is definitely the Fala and TJP match. I thought that match was incredible. It had absolutely everything. It helps it. Obviously, Fala and TJP are incredible wrestlers in their own right, but they're a relatively new tag team, and they showed that they've got some incredible potential in that match. And I think that I'm hoping that we may see a little bit more of TJP and Fala being pushed as a tag team in the coming months, the next year. But I think that match with the North really proved how good that they potentially are. I also enjoyed the match with the LAX match that we talked about, LAX and the Rascals. I enjoyed the Rascals match. I think that I mean, over the course of the 12 months, there's been so many really, really good matches. It's very difficult to actually pick out which one was probably my favourite.
One I did forget to mention was the match where they beat LAX to send them off the roster before LAX took on Rich Swann and Willie Mack as the final send-off. When the North beat them, and they did it so with so little respect and everything at the end of it, I thought, the match itself was incredible, and for them to end it in such a disrespectful manner, everyone then throws all the merit of the match out the window. But the match itself was fantastic, and it was a great way to build up Rich Swann and Willie Mack then as a tag team to give them the final match with LAX.
Without doubt. And then they got that proper send off that they deserved, I guess. Yeah.
And it helped build the heat between Ethan Page and Josh Alexander and Rich Swann and Willie Mack as well. So it was a great way to interlink everything. Like it's something I said before, Impact is very, very good at doing. If they're going to interlink characters and storylines, they're going to do it in a good way.
Yeah. And that worked extremely well at that moment to then obviously create the following feud. So, so where do we think that? So for me, have you got any predictions then? I mean, obviously we just touched on the last couple of episodes of Impact where we saw Josh and Eddie, which was, oh my God, was an incredible match. I mean, what a way to kick off the show was like 25 minutes worth of that. I mean, it was just an incredible match of skill, endurance. It was fast paced at times. And some great storytelling and some real hard hitting stuff from those two. And then, of course, the previous week we had Ethan versus Tessa, which again, just an incredible match, and it just, again, I mean, that's a testament to Tessa too, in how she can work anyone. She can work with anyone.
Yeah.
You put two good wrestlers in a ring, they can work with each other regardless.
Yeah, exactly. What I see going next, I'm hoping for a long-term feud between TJP, Falabar, and Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, and they got AC Romero and Larry D and come together as well, which I'm really pleased to see because I've been waiting to see Larry D a lot more. And so we got Triple XL versus TJP and Falabar versus the North. I think is how that's going to conclude. But I want to see TJP and Falabar and the North really, really build up like LAX did with the Rascals and LAX did with the North and LAX did with the OGs. I want to see a tag team rivalry really, really start to pick up momentum, because we nearly had that with Rich Swann and Willie Mack and the North. Yeah. But sadly, Rich Swann got that injury. So I think
that's such a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think TJP and Falabar is a great way to pick off from where Rich Swann and Willie Mack ended. And going on from tag team wrestling, I see Josh Alexander could be a world champion, could be X Division champion, and so could Ethan Page. Both of them have the potential to get a complete clean slate for everything.
Yeah, they could go on with a singles run. Either of them could end up becoming singles competitors, couldn't they? And possibly take on a title. And both of them would obviously have fantastic runs with it. I think you're right. I think what we're going to see going forward, we're going to start seeing feuds with Falabar, the Triple XL. We don't want to discount the Rascals, because I think still the Rascals have got a say in all of this. I also believe that they deserve an opportunity to run with the title for a little bit as well. I also think that whatever happens, whoever they drop the title to, they will retain by the end of the year. So if, I don't know, say for instance, they go out at Slammiversary, lose the title to whoever, by the time Bound for Glory comes along, they'll win it again. I'm pretty certain of that. I think by the time, so in other words, if they lose it this year at some point, by the end of the year, they will be tag champs again. That's my thought. And to be fair, as much as I love them, and I'd like to see them continue as tag champs, they can't stay tag champs forever. We've got them, somewhere along the line, they're going to have to lose to somebody. And then we're going to have, then we can legitimately create a feud to win it back again.
Definitely.
So I think it'd be interesting to see how that sort of kind of pans out. I don't get me wrong, I'm a massive fan. I actually, just before this pandemic kicked in, I actually ordered the T-shirt, the North T-shirt, which looks like the TNA logo. I actually ordered one of those. It's never turned up. So I'm gonna have to chase that. Actually, that's sort of kind of reminded me actually. So I'm going to chase that because it never actually turned up. So I'm going to chase that. But yeah, no, I mean, I can see these guys doing so much in the future, whether it be singles or obviously continuing as a North. I don't think they'll break them up anytime soon.
No.
They've got so much going for them at the moment. If they broke them up now, it would be very detrimental to both of them, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Michael Elgin's he picked them for his team at Lockdown, which of course sadly has been postponed or cancelled. So that's one of the reasons why we've got the North versus Eddie Edwards and Tessa Blanchard now, because the tapings are obviously pre-recorded. So they're doing a great job of showing that the North, when they're given the backing of someone as big as Michael Elgin or as Moose, they'll go out there and they'll perform.
There's no doubt.
And
absolutely doubt.
Michael Elgin puts on a 5-star match. Rich Swann puts up on a 5-star match. Sammy Callahan puts on a 5-star match. Put Ethan Page, Josh Alexander together or alone, they'll put on a 5-star match. It's just Impact's roster is packed with 5-star wrestlers, and people just don't seem to like it because they're not big names. Although these guys are huge names. Yeah, I suppose it should have been. They're not big names with the little sarcastic quotation marks over. Because these guys are bigger than most of the guys out there.
Yeah, at the end of the day, these guys, Ethan Page, Josh Alexander, are for me in the top 2 or 3 best tag teams. And for me, I'd probably have them at the top because at the end of the day, I see all of the work that they do. I watch them regularly, and I know how good they really are. But then, I could be doing a disjustice to a couple of the teams on WWE or AEW because I don't watch quite as much of those as Impact I watch religiously every single week without doubt. Without fail, I never miss an episode. And I would say that AEW I try and at least watch the highlight reels, the highlight show, so I can keep up on that.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
AEW needs to get their tag team divisions in some sort of order. They've got their titles at the moment on Adam Page and Kenny Omega, and it's sort of going in no direction, really, which is a bit of a shame.
I'm sorry, but for me, I think that is bloody ridiculous when you've got tag teams like the Lucha Brothers, Best Friends and all that kind of stuff on your roster. Why the fuck do you put the tag title on 2 singles wrestlers? Why? Why do you do that? It's just that is just the most. You've even got LAX. Well, not LAX now, but you know what I mean. You've got Santana and Ortiz. Why the fuck do you put the tag titles on Hangman Page and Kenny Omega? Why? Because you can't put the world title on them because you've put it on the old fogey Chris Jericho. No offense, I know you're a big Jericho fan. I am a big Jericho fan as well, but I don't. I think it's about time that they put the title on a young gun.
Yeah, they've got it on John Moxley at the moment. Now,
it is Moxley, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
But again, John is just an ex-WWE guy. I mean, come on, seriously.
Yeah, they've got the star power, they've got the potential. They will balance out eventually. It's still early days, teething problems and everything. But the tag team division had the tag division at AEW had so much promise when it kicked off, and it seems to have just gone in it's like gone into a spiral of where the fuck are you going? And then everyone says Impact's got the broken tag division. Impact's probably got the most solid tag division out of WWE and AEW.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, without doubt, you know, when we put a team together, they're good. Let's face the facts, right? They work.
Yeah.
The teams generally work. I still believe that the Ascension are on their way. We'll see, but I firmly believe that they're on their way. Pardon me. It'd be interesting if they start to put a permanent tag team together that is a female tag team, or a female and a guy tag team, something like that, gender tag team. And again, they just go for the tag team titles. It's not anything specific. It's just pro wrestling. It just happens to be a man and a woman. You know. It'd be interesting to see if they do that. And I think the only promotion out there they've got the balls to do that would be Impact. So it would be interesting to see if they do that in the future. But yeah, I mean, what as far as I'm concerned, mate, the North, the future is bright. They're going to be around. They're going to be on the weekly show every week. And they're going to be giving us some fantastic wrestling, some fantastic promos that we're all going to laugh at and enjoy. And you know, it's going to be a hell of a year. I think once we get through this pandemic, how it all pans out towards the end of the year, I think we'll start seeing some stuff being put on social media. Probably, I'm sure we'll start seeing some more stuff coming out. Bottom line, you know, the North for us are probably one of the best tag teams in the world. We're very proud to have them as our Impact World Champions, aren't we, Joe?
I'm ecstatic. And
they are only true traveling world champions. They go all over the world and defend their world title.
Definitely.
Yes, they're not just a promotion title. They are the world champs, and we love them. Okay, so I think that winds up this week's show, Joe. We've been going for a good hour, almost now. So I think we've given the North a good rub there. They're a great team. So I just want to say a quick thank you to ESO Personalize, obviously for supporting this podcast. Don't forget that they're a supplier of all branded goods. Their saying is your brand is our business. So, you know, if you're looking to push your brand, then why not check out www.esopersonalize.co.uk. I'm sure they'd love to hear from you. Why not let them know that you've come from our podcast? That might be quite cool. Just they've done a few merch. They sent us some merch the other day, actually, didn't they, Joe? So you've got one of their hats on, haven't you? Tonight, yes, Joe, I've got a hat here as well, actually, which I didn't wear today, but let's show this bad boy off. Look. Okay, look, see? Impacted, baby. Yeah,
fantastic.
Not bad, huh? Not bad.
Not bad.
I'm going to put it on now. I like to sort of,
go. A bit of marketing.
A little bit of merch, a little bit of marketing going on there. They're also good at doing obviously the t-shirts, etc. Joe's got a lovely t-shirt from them. T-shirts, all branded good, workwear, gifts, whatever it is that you're after. ESO Personalize is your go-to shop online. So get going over there and check them out, guys. Don't forget that this podcast is available on the Total Nonstop Impact OG channel, which is the home of the #1 Impact review show, Total Nonstop Impact, which goes live. I believe it's going live every Tuesday now after the show, which is pretty fantastic. So you're getting to see that. We also the home of the TNA NWA Throwback Show, which goes out on Tuesdays, I believe. It does. Goes out on Tuesdays. Don't forget to check out Trent and Joe Bone on that as well. And of course, we come out every Wednesday with Impacted with your host Bison and my co-host.
The Joker.
Yes, coming to you from the void. Now, where can we find you, Joe?
You can find me on Twitter at JOK empty space. If you want to find me on Facebook, look for Joe O'Keefe, KEEFE. And if you see my ugly mug, then just add me there. You can find me on a few wrestling groups. Not sure if we can mention the one that we mentioned last week.
We're not supposed to, because you remember this, we don't talk about that one.
Yeah.
It is an exclusive club. So if you get an invite to the exclusive Spandex Club, right?
Yeah.
Then you must feel very, very privileged. All right,
Yeah.
because yes, it's an exclusive club. Currently, we only have 36 members, so it's an exclusive club for wrestling fans.
We're on quite a few impact-related groups, and look for the hashtag empty space or something like that, or Rosemary, or at the moment look for the hashtag for Kylie Ray, because I'm over the moon that she's come to Impact. So, or Smiley Kylie, and you'll find me somewhere.
Okay, and if you're looking to follow myself, the Bison, you can find me on Twitter at LordBison45. I'm actually really proud that this week I hit 400 followers. Go me, 400 followers. So that's a pretty impressive milestone. So my next milestone's got to be 1,000, right? How cool would that be if I ever hit 1,000? So don't forget to head over to at LordBison45. Give me a follow. I do love talking to people about wrestling. I share as much as I possibly can of the news and different bits and bobs, and I do like to put out polls and questions and my opinions on the wrestling, certainly on Impact especially, which is obviously my go-to promotion. But yeah, don't forget to head over to the TNI YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, smash the bell to never miss a listen. And yeah, keep up to date with all of our fresh weekly content. That's all I've got to say, really. So next week, guys, just one other thing. If you head over to We Talk Impact on Twitter, we're running a poll at the moment to basically decide who our next character on the Impact roster is going to be. So the poll that we've got going at the moment is Michael Elgin or the choice is yours. I believe at the moment Michael is ahead by a little smidgen. So if you're a Michael fan, don't forget to put your vote. And if you're a Falab fan and you want to see us talk about Falaba, then don't forget to vote for him. Like I said, over at We Are Impact, which is a total Nonstop Impact Twitter page, go and check that out. Subscribe to that or follow them also on there. Very good at promoting the wrestling industry. Not just Impact, lots of the indie stuff, AAW, Wrestling Revolver, all the different indie promotions. And yeah, lots of fresh and new content coming out on a weekly basis from that channel. So all that's left to say is, I've been Bison.
I've been the Joker.
And this has been Impacted.
Take care, guys.